Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is the Nicholas Brostakis Chelsea Bowl channel, and today is match preview for Saturday's game against Crystal Palace, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. It's going to be a game where it is not only a must win, it is the only result that I think we'll be accepting. We've been extremely dominant at Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park in the past. And not even only at Selhurst Park, we've been dominant at home versus Crystal Palace. We swept them last season. We got 2 wins, both at home and away. So it's a result that, hey, it would be a worse result than last year if we don't get it. And especially how good we've been this year, we need to pick up the wins. And this is one that in particular needs to happen. But big news came from press conference. Of course, Maresca had his press conference this morning. And absolutely massive news. Let's start with somewhat good news first. So Reece James, of course, was in the lineup last week, or I guess you could say last week. On Monday, he was in the lineup, an unexpected entry, I guess. He did say there's a chance, like a few weeks ago, that Reece James could be involved in future lineups, maybe around the Ipswich time, and he was. He did say that he was never going to play in the Ipswich game, but he says he's definitely able to get some minutes on Saturday, and I fully expect him to get minutes tomorrow. Definitely, maybe not off as a starter, but maybe off the bench. I definitely can see it. It looks like Romeo Lavia is very close. I have a feeling he will be on the bench, but I have my most definite feeling is that he will definitely not start. I have a feeling if he does play off the bench, it'll be probably for around 25 minutes. It'd be a great way for him to come into this match, have more defensive stability. I think he would be a brilliant player to bring off the bench. For someone like Enzo around the 70th minute mark. I think that would be a brilliant substitution for him. That's just one of my thoughts. It looks like when it comes to guys like Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, still injured. And then there was one other guy they were talking about, Benoit Badiashile. He'll be out until around February. But the biggest player that won't be around the lineup is Wes. Wesley Fofana has a chance of not becoming back until the end of the season. His hamstring problem is a major one, and he's not going to be involved in the lineup at least until close to the end of the year. And that's heartbreaking. I mean, for a guy like Wes, who played the majority of the first half of the season, who missed, I guess basically you could say, the end of November until now, we thought, around here in January, late January, maybe Wes would be back. Same with Benoit. Looks like we'll be getting Benoit back next month, but the thing is, the injury for Wes is substantial. Like I said, he's probably been the best center back, if not second best center back on the team. Such a helpful addition he was this year. And like Enzo Maresca's been saying, he's been falling in love with this guy. And this is just a move that absolutely kills the team. We're going to have to see guys like Tosin, like Disasi more, Benoit when he comes back. But this is not a good one for the team. It's really sad for the guy who just came back from a major knee injury. Now he might have missed the rest of the season with a hamstring problem. Hopefully it's not the case. Hopefully he'll come back sooner. But, we have to hope and pray that it isn't as serious as they think. But what's happening in the lineup? Let's see what I got cooking for this game. So this is the lineup I've got. So we got Sanchez, Cucurella, Colwill, Tosin, Gusto, Enzo, Caicedo, Sancho, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and Nicolas Jackson up top. So starting with the back, we got Rabo Sanchez, and then again, I don't think that technically you could say Jorgensen did enough to warrant him getting another start. I think it's almost guaranteed that we'll see Sanchez tomorrow. I think the limited cup games and Carabao Cup matches and Conference League matches warranted Jorgensen getting a start. We definitely will see Jorgensen play in the FA Cup game next Saturday. I think obviously it's like a week off of no Premier League play almost. I mean, I think it's like we play on Tuesday against Wolves, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's something like that. And then there's that's just that. Cucurella, left back. I mean, no one comes close to this guy at our current left back position. Of course, we'll see guys like Chile leave. Renato Vega, I don't think he'll go on loan, but I don't think he's warranted himself anywhere near starting time. Cucurella is obviously one of the best left backs, in my opinion, in the Premier League right now. I think he keeps playing. Colwill at center back, he's probably been, if you can say, the most consistent center back. At times he lacks defensive aptitude, but he's been healthy, and he's the guy I trust the most there. Tosin next to him, I don't trust him right now. I think Tosin really needs to be brought in to be a guy who could be a rotational option, like your third or your fourth guy off the bench, not your second guy. With the injuries, and now we got Wesley Fofana being out for so long, Tosin's going to have to step up. Or maybe Aaron Anselmino. It's not going to be a tough task for a guy like him to come inside and maybe steal this position. Anselmino, of course, they're saying is going to be slowly brought in. They've already said they're not going to rush him into play. They want to acclimatize him, with the Premier League play. It makes sense. He's a 19-year-old kid, but it's not going to be too difficult, for my opinion, for him to come in and win this starting place. I have a feeling he'll get his debut against Morecambe in the FA Cup next weekend, so I might be choosing him for that one, but as that time gets closer, we'll see. Gusto comes in back at right back. We need a right back playing right back. If I see Disasi anywhere near this team sheet, I'm going to explode. Of course, you trust your players, but I can't trust Disasi right now. Right now, he's like a serial error maker, bro. I don't know what it is about this guy. He just makes unlimited amounts of errors that it's almost impossible that we can make him. I mean, they put out the charts for the 2024 year, and we were one of the top teams in created errors in 2024. Come on, you can't win games and expect to win games when you're one of the top teams in all of the top 5 leagues to create error. Are we serious? Enzo and Caicedo staying once again. They've been consistent back to one another. I could also see a way in this game that something like Caicedo goes in back at right back, and we were to see somebody like Lavia come back into the mix. Although I don't see it happening, of course, because of the reason, obviously, being that Lavia is not fully healthy yet, and there's almost no way that they'll rush him back. I just don't see it happening. So Enzo Caicedo will definitely be there. But again, I will state that I think Lavia definitely has a chance to come back into the midfield. So give praise to Enzo and Caicedo. They've been brilliant basically all this season. They got to just come back together and get a good result for us. Sancho comes back into the left. I don't necessarily think that his form has been insane recently. Ever since that Tottenham game, he's been a little inconsistent, but I don't think anybody's really been consistent since that game, or maybe since the Brentford game. I don't think anybody's really been super consistent. Hopefully he can come back into the mix. I don't really think Joao Felix will get another one. Just my thinking there. I don't think he'll give Joao Felix a start. He may come off the bench, Joao Felix. Cole Palmer, it's obviously a given. Cole Palmer comes in. He was one of the better performers in the Ipswich game. If anybody was good in that Ipswich game, he didn't look very happy. Of course, nobody really looked happy after the Ipswich loss, but I don't think you drop Palmer. It's not possible. Of course, you're not going to drop Palmer. Pedro Neto on the right, I think that we needed his type of play in the last one. I think he tracked back well. Noni did an okay job at it in the Ipswich one, but the way that Neto was helping out, I think in the last one was not in the last one, the game before was brilliant. So I think Neto comes back into the mix. I think Madueke will be off the bench at least in this one, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that. And then Jackson comes back in up top, of course, because Nkunku was such an abysmal mess that Jackson looked way more of a striker. We had a striker in at least for the final 20 minutes of that Ipswich game. So we'll see what Jackson can do. Hopefully he can get himself back in the score sheet and get his 10th goal of the season. I think it'll be a massive if he can get that goal. I think this is a game where, I've got high hopes for a victory. I mean, there is no other result at this point that, anybody can take. I think all Chelsea fans can take. I mean, at this point, you've dropped a game against Everton. You've dropped a game against Ipswich. You've dropped a game against, who's the other team we played? I can't even think anymore. Ipswich, Everton, and who else? Fulham. You've dropped those 3 points. You've dropped 8 points out of a possible 9. Of course, you saved the draw against Everton in a bogey ball game, but it's not good enough. A team I think at one point in my video said we were in a title race. We are not in a title race. This comes clear as day that we can't expand more. Enzo Maresca was proving the media that we aren't in a title race. They kept trying to tell him to say it. He knew better. He expected this to happen. It's about how you respond after these mistakes. If we respond well, then sure as hell we might be able to say we're back in a title race. But I won't be saying it no matter what. If we can keep playing like this at certain stretches during a season, then we're never going to be at a title race. We can't have results like this. Yes, you could pick up an odd draw. Yes, you could pick up one loss. but you have to respond immediately. You can't just dilly-dally. Guys like Levi Colwell were saying, we know how good we are, but we have to make sure we are prepared and ready to go for every game. If we're not, we're never going to be in title race. You're not. You're just not. So for this game against Crystal Palace, there's no other result that matters except a win. It doesn't matter how you get it. It doesn't matter how sloppy it is. 3 points is all that matters. You need to keep extending that point tally. Of course, City are now 4 games behind us in 5th. So they're not the world behind us. Even after their horrific amount of tally of results, they're not absolutely miles behind us. So we need to come into this game absolutely ready to win. It's at a place where we've been absolutely dominant in the past. So we need to come back into this one. We need to get a win. Crystal Palace have been an improving team over the last few games. So we just can't let them beat us. Can't let them do it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of the lineup. Check out the Insta and TikTok, Nicholas Prostakis CFC on those platforms. I'll see you guys on mid-afternoon, probably on Saturday to do our match review. See you guys then. Peace.